Hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. This is part 2 of my mod overhaul video showcase. So if you haven't watched part 1, I do recommend checking that out. This is part 2 where I'm discussing specific creators that I use and the mods that they have created. So on this one, I might be showing less of the in-game stuff because they can be quite specific to certain situations, like for example Lumpanu's relationship and pregnancy overhaul. I won't be able to visually showcase a lot of that at the moment because I don't have any pregnant sims, so I'll be showing a lot of their websites and where to download them, but I will still be discussing them nonetheless. But anyway, let me jump straight in. Let's get straight to it. The first creator I will be discussing is Lumpanu, the first mod being contextual interactions. So with contextual interactions, it just allows your sim to discuss certain things that have happened that aren't in the game already. So for example, if a sim has got promoted, they can actually tell another sim about being promoted. If they've almost died, they can tell another sim this, and it's just tiny little interactions and animations that weren't in the game that I think should have been in, but Lumpanu has done EA's job and given us these more options of more contextual social interactions, which I really like. Again, similar with the storytelling socials mod that I discussed in the last video, if you're a storyteller, it just really helps to kind of add these extra interactions. So the next mod is first impressions, which I absolutely cannot live without. It really helps for storytelling. So I've got Valerie here introducing herself to a brand new sim, and it gives us a first impression. So Valerie's first impression is that this sim is independent and capable, and this sim thinks that Valerie is clingy. So it's got a variety of different first impressions, and it does actually impact how a sim interacts with each other. If they have a really negative interaction, they will remember this for quite some time, and it will say first impressions are strong, other times they fade, but they will eventually fade in the sentiments panel eventually. I can't remember what cooldown I've got, but there are again different cooldowns that you can use. But I just personally really like this because it will help me decide if my sim is going to have a positive relationship with a sim or a negative one. It just creates more dynamic relationships. Next is the LGBTQIA mod, which helps you create different sexualities and gender identities for your sims. You can use the global settings and adjust, for example, say 20% of sims are going to be bisexual, and it will just filter sims that way. You can have crushes, so you can go and meet and mingle with sims. You can decide to ponder their orientation and identity. You can create quick assumptions and assignments for a certain sim, so I can do it here and decide what sort of pronouns Valerie might have and change her identity and orientation, or you can let it randomize yourself. So if you're struggling to decide, like a teen who ages up and you don't know what sexuality they might have, or if they might be confused about their gender identity, this just can kind of give you a bit more depth. Next is the mood pack, which is used by quite a lot of mods, not only by Lumpanu, but other creators have used this as well, and it just gives your sims more emotions than just there's probably, I think, like 10 basic base game ones. This just gives you so many more, like enamored or exhausted and different sort of moods basically, and it just creates that diversity in your gameplay. There is the memory panel. Now this is a new mod. If you click open memory panel, it will show me all of Valerie's life milestones. So it tells me that she's worked in a long-term career, she's had a serious breakup, she's cheated on a partner, she's given birth, she's had perfect reputation, and it just tells you all of these. Now if you add this mod, it will create memories that have already happened. So even though I've only got this mod recently, it's remembered all of these things that had already happened in Valerie's life. And it just creates, again, more moodlet. So it's just such a cute little memory system. A small mod, but a very, very helpful mod. As we may know by now, the wants system in The Sims 4 is not necessarily the best. They might not be the most relevant, and since changing from whims, we can no longer X off a want. We have to wait for them to do it automatically. So with this one, if I shift click on Valerie, I can go through to the end panel and I can re-roll her wants, and she will get a whole new set of wants. Now if I see one that I like, I can pin it in and I can shift click again, and re-roll once, and it will change the ones that we weren't too sure of before. And it will you can do this as many times as you want and need until you get relevant ones. Next is talents and weaknesses. So every single sim is assigned 2 talents and 2 weaknesses. So Valerie here has been assigned, they are randomly assigned, but you can also manually select and change these. But Valerie is good at photography and painting, so she will gain this skill quicker, whereas she is not very good at comedy, which means that it will take longer for her comedy skill to improve. So again, it just kind of creates these individual sims. Like Valerie might be really good at something that Vinny is not so good at. And it just means that the sims aren't all going to be the exact same. They will have their different personalities and tweaks to them, which I just really like. So lastly, by Lumpinu is my absolute favourite mod ever. Now, if you are a family player, I 100% recommend this. If you watch my LPs, you will know that I use this all the time, and that is the Relationship and Pregnancy Overhaul, which I also still call Woohoo Wellness, because that's what it used to be called. But as you can see, we've got so many different options. Now, Valerie is not pregnant at the moment, so I won't be able to show all the pregnancy-related stuff. But for example, I can settle splitting an estate because she's recently had a breakup. We can go on the Meet and Mingle app. We can decide to always be faithful or decide to be celibate. We can discuss the custody of children, cheating and fidelity. So again, if Valerie has cheated on someone, she can announce this to them. There are just so many different sort of options. We've got her woohoo status, so she can buy protection, she can get tested for woohoo TDs, and her pregnancy and family. So here she can decide if she is comfortable being pregnant and if she actually wants children. So again, I like to let fate and time decide, so it changes over time. But you can decide if a sim would be happy to have a child or does not want a child, and this will impact whether they are happy or sad or neutral about becoming pregnant. And it will impact throughout the whole gameplay. Now, I won't be obviously able to showcase the entire mod because it is so in-depth. If you watch my videos, you will probably have seen this, but otherwise definitely go read what Lumpinu has posted about this mod because it is absolutely the best mod I have in my game. If I had to take out every mod except for one, this is the one that I would keep. The next creator is Missy Hissy, and again, some of these I might not be able to show off straight away, so I will just be talking about them. But the first one is Call Off Wedding Event, which for some reason with My Wedding Stories was taken off. Now, if you don't throw an event, you can still call off wedding ceremonies, but if you have the proper wedding event, if I were to go and create a wedding event, I can't do it at the moment, but if I were to do that, then I can have Valerie cancel her engagement, which is absolutely what was already happened in this series. So Valerie left her fiance at the altar, and this was only possible through Missy Hissy's mod. So I absolutely love this, and I recommend this, especially if you're playing a challenge like Not So Berry, because I know in the second generation you're supposed to leave a sim at the altar. So if you download this mod by Missy Hissy, you can still do the wedding event and have your sim call off the wedding event while at the wedding. So the next mod is phone animations for teens only. With high school years, sims were allowed to walk and text, for example, but now with this mod it means that only teen sims do it. So your elders aren't walking and texting and your adult sims aren't walking and texting. It is only available for teens, which I really like. So one thing that always confused me with My Wedding Stories, with rehearsal dinners, you can't throw them at a restaurant, but with Missy Hissy's mod, she has allowed it so that we can actually have a rehearsal dinner or wedding events at a restaurant, which I don't understand why this wasn't in the game. Probably because of cross-pack compatibility wasn't checked, but either way, now you can have your rehearsal dinner at a restaurant, which is absolutely incredible. Next, by Missy Hissy, I use the custom wants mod. So as I've shown off, I've already got my wants down here. These are just more relevant to my sim now. So it's just an overhaul of the wants. She has also overhauled the fears as well, the hopes and fears. So that one is definitely helpful as well. It just makes the fears and hopes, as I say, more relevant to each sim. If I shift click on Valerie, I can select the hobby mod and I can add a hobby for Valerie. So there's a wide selection, and I believe these are inspired by the Sims 2 hobbies. And it just means if I want Valerie to be into fashion and beauty, for example, she has now got the fashion and beauty hobby, which means that this is something she enjoys doing. So she will get kind of bonuses or extra moodlets if she does a if she does an interaction that is related to her hobby. And lastly, by Missy Hissy, is the personality mod, again inspired by The Sims 2. My sim can have specific personalities, so whether they're a creative sim, a family-oriented sim, a knowledge sim, or a romance sim, their wants, again, will be influenced by this sort of personality, and it just creates that another. My main thing with these mods is that it adds dynamic sort of personalities to my sims. They're not always going to be the exact same sim, so that is what I like about this personality mod. The next creator is Mizuo Yuki, and the first mod is the no map outlines. As you can see, I'm in map view and I have not got the white box around the lot, so it's just a very simple mod, but I just like it as it means that the lots sort of blend in a bit more, especially with things like parks. They've not got that sort of defining white line around them. So the next mod, again, I'm not going to showcase it because I've got wicked whims in my games, but is the shower woohoo tweaks. So if Mabel and Akira right now were to woohoo in the shower, without this mod, their hygiene would not go up, and they would get into a towel, which I find odd. When you're getting into a shower, you don't put a towel on. You get out of the shower and put a towel on. So this just means your sims will take off their clothes. If you don't have wicked whims, then they will have obviously the blur. And it will actually increase their hygiene. So it's a tiny little mod, but I just really like the sort of realism of it. Wear more costumes. So this is related to Spooky Day. They will have more costumes available. The next one is I can turn on a specific channel. So it means if I don't want my sim to actually come and watch, if I want to put on the TV for a toddler, for example, I can click turn on and Kids Network, and it will turn it on even though Mabel is not here watching the TV. So it means if I wanted a toddler to come and watch TV, they can't turn it on by themselves. So here, Eleanor at the moment can't watch TV, but I could have Mabel all the way over here, turn on the TV, and she can watch TV. Next is the drama mod. So they're usually quite like insulting sort of options, but there is also other options as well. So again, it is just more for that extra options for storytelling and conversations that your sims can have with each other. There is the due date response. So again, I'm unable to show this off right now, but when your sim is pregnant, if someone asks them when they are due, you will actually get a response. So they will say, I'm in my first trimester, I'm in my second trimester, and it is just that tiny little change that I really like. The next one is amazing, is children can plan events. Now, for some reason, children can't plan events without this mod. So if Elodie was aging up, she wouldn't be able to throw her own birthday party, which is difficult because if I wanted Valerie to throw the party for her, if Valerie doesn't know Elodie's friends, her friends aren't invited. Whereas this way, Elodie can invite all of the sims that she knows and has her own event, basically. And it works for all of the different events, and it is compatible with the memorable events mod, as I was saying before. So Elodie can throw a playground event and invite just her friends. The next creator is Nate the Loser. So I have the mean autonomy overhaul, which, as you might have seen recently, sims are mean to each other all the time. And this just dials it down. There is also occult toddler quirks. So if you play with occult sims, your toddlers might have interesting and different sort of moodlets and little interactions that they can do. Then there is the thrift store dress normal. So now if you have high school years and you go to the thrift store, sims will wear really weird clothes. So this should in effect mean that sims and townies are dressed slightly more normally. So the next creator is Panda Summer, and one of the mods that I really like by them are all their different toddler and children toys. Now, I don't really like Build CC, but this is one sort of Build CC I will use because the toddler options are very limited in game. But for example, Elliot here is right now playing with some cars, and I could have Elodie come and ride the rocking horse, and there's a little craft station, and we have got the xylophone, and there are just so many. You can go through their website and have a look at all of the different options. I don't have all of their CC in my game or even placed on this lot, but there are just so many different toddler CC and toys for your toddlers to play with. And as I say, there are ones for kids to do as well. So like this one is for toddlers and children, and also adults. Adults can play on the rocking horse as well. There is the high chair lock. So if you have toddlers, you will know that if you put them in a high chair, Sims are obsessed with taking them out. If you put a toddler in a high chair, you can lock the high chair and no one can take the toddler out until you unlock the high chair. It is absolutely essential if you like to put your toddlers in high chairs. Lastly, by Panda Sama, is the realistic birth mod. I have used this mod quite a few times now, and I can't imagine having a Sim give birth without this mod. It is so incredible. It does take quite a while, so prepare yourself for long labours, but you can cheat this to speed it up. Everything is linked on their page, and as I do not have a pregnant Sim right now, I can't show it off in this video, but I have shown it off in all of my LPs so far. So if you want to watch it happening, there are definitely some videos that you can watch of mine. There are the tutorials, and other creators have made reviews of this specific mod, but this is absolute game changer for me. I absolutely adore it. So the next creator is the Pancake one, and their first mod that I'm going to discuss is the Cuddle In Bed. Look, my couples can actually cuddle in bed together, and they won't sleep separately, and they would just look really cute, and they will change sides. At the moment, Mabel is cuddling Akira, and then eventually they might change and Akira might be the one cuddling Mabel, and I just think it looks really cute for couples who are sleeping in bed together. Next is the chemistry system. So at the moment we can see that Mabel has got good chemistry with Akira, so based on her traits and based on his traits, this mod has decided whether Mabel and Akira have good chemistry or bad chemistry, and this can impact how they build relationships and their moodlets. If they are around Sims that they have really bad chemistry with, they will be in a bad mood. If they are around Sims they have wonderful chemistry with, they will have a good mood. Now with this one, you will go to click the Sim and click chemistry system, and you can add their trait preferences. So I can go through, and as you can see, Valerie really likes Sims who are animal enthusiasts, but she dislikes high maintenance Sims, which is interesting as she is a high maintenance Sim. But you can randomize the preferences, or you can select it all yourself. You can choose from -10 all the way to +10, and you can also have skill preferences. I don't usually do this one, I just like the traits. But that is another option, and it just creates more dynamic relationships, which, as you probably know by now, is one thing that I love about mods. The next mod by the Pancake one is Cute Romance. So I have more romantic options for my Sims who are in relationships. So Akira is going to dip kiss Mabel. He can cuddle her from behind. They can make out on the bed. As you can see, this is an animation from The Sims 3, and I just love that I can have it in my game now. No, don't woohoo, I'm trying to showcase a mod. So at the moment, Akira is cuddling Mabel from behind, and they are gonna have an intense kiss. So these are just some of the options that you can have with this mod. So as you can see, it just creates a few more different animations for your romantic Sims. Next is more traits in Cass. As you can see, Valerie has got 5 traits right now as opposed to the normal 3. And Ezra, who is a child, has got 3 traits instead of just the 1. And my toddlers have 2 traits. So doing this just gives my Sims a bit more of an intense personality. For example, if your Sim were a child that was a vegetarian, that is not their only personality trait. They also can have other options as well. So it is literally as it says. And again, you can have different flavors. So you can have, what I have is 5 traits for adult Sims, 4 for teens, 3 for children, and 2 for toddlers, but you can have as many as you want. There are so many different options. The last one by the Pancake one is remove Sims from conversations. So if you've got a couple that are flirting and someone comes to join them, like for example right now, Valerie is coming to talk with her parents, and if I didn't want Valerie in the conversation, I would right click on her, and as you can see, she has now left the conversation. So it might say awkward conversation to begin with, but once you X them off, it should go back to how the conversation were before. Now this is really helpful if you are trying to have a Sim flirt with another, especially if they are out of the home lot. You can just remove random Sims from your conversations. The final creator is Zero, and the first mod by them is age behavior tweaks. So this will just adjust so that my teenage Sims won't act the exact same as my elder Sims. It just adds some tiny little adjustments to the sort of interactions and responses that they autonomously do. There is university costs more, so I don't like how cheap university is in The Sims 4. So with this mod, it timeses the amount of university by 10. So instead of being 340 simoleons, for example, for a certain degree, it will cost 3,400. And you can also have this as well for their scholarships. So if you want higher scholarships, you can do this as well, which I just really like that it's not super cheap to go to university, because in real life it's not. There is another tiny mod is slob sims will not feel uncomfortable if they've got low hygiene. So if my sim is a slob, that means they don't mind being dirty or around grungy situations. They won't be uncomfortable if they've got low hygiene. And the final mod, which causes so much chaos, as you may have seen from my Let's Plays, especially with this one with Valerie, is autonomous, go steady, and proposal. So sims can autonomously propose to each other, which can cause some drama, because you can accept the proposal, and then in Valerie's case, she broke off the engagement at the wedding, or you can have a sim reject an autonomous proposal, and then that will create some more drama for their relationship. So I just really like this one, especially because it is so unexpected. It's taken me by surprise so many times, as you will know if you've seen my LPs. I just really love the autonomy of this mod, and it just means that I don't always have to plan everything, and it can take me by surprise, which I just really personally like. So I'm ending part 2 of my mod showcase here. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope, again, that you found this showcase video really helpful. Same as before, they are all linked. All these mods are linked on my Tumblr, which is linked in the description. So please do check that out if you're interested. As I said in the last video, if you have any questions at all about any of these mods or any of the mods I discussed in the last video, I am more than happy to try and help you and answer your questions. Just comment down below or DM me on Twitter. I'm more than happy to always try and help you where I can. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this video and found it useful, please do consider subscribing. It would really help my channel out, and I would really super appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you all in another video. Bye everyone.